Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the live. How are we all doing today? How are we all doing today? How are we all doing today? We give some people a little bit of time to kind of swindle in. And today we are doing the interview with a very special guest, Mr. Day One Adventures. He has been all over the tri state area. He is a tech blogger, a food blogger, a travel blogger, a tech guy, just an all around great content creator. And today we're going to have a conversation about the Philly food scene and traveling. And we got to talk about the favorite cheesesteak spot or whatever his best favorite cheesesteak spot is. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Mr. Day One Adventures. How are we doing today, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Thanks for that great intro. Yeah. So yeah, the tri-state area. That you nailed it right there. That's what I always called it. Tri-state. Yeah.
Yep.
That's that
Philly,
connection.
Jersey, New York, or Philly, Jersey, Delaware, however you want to spin it. Um, so
All of
before
the
we get
above.
started, um, tell people a little bit about yourself, kind of where you're from, you know, what you do, and how you got into this space of creating content.
All right. Well, I was born a poor black child. No. If anybody's ever seen The Jerk, that's my favorite open line. I was born actually in Delaware County called Delco, which is right on the edge of PA and Delaware. And then we moved to Philly, to Center City, and I went away to school up in Hershey. So I went back and forth between the country and the city. So that's kind of where I got the whole like my logo is like you know out there and in the city.
Yeah.
Um, so I spent a lot of time there. Did some traveling, worked at different places around the country. Spent some time down in Florida. And how I came into doing this, it was I work the company I work for. They were doing this thing, and they were like, "Well, what do you want to dream of doing, right? What's your big thing?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I said, "I want to do a TED talk." Right? Just thinking like out the box. And I did the research and everything. And in order to submit for a TED talk, at that time I was living in Wilmington. I'm still in Wilmington, and I had to submit a video. So when I submitted the video was on Stay Curious, and I kind of liked doing that video. I liked it, and started doing the research, and they were like, just answer questions that people ask you. So people would ask me about like, well, when go on Facebook, I would always post pictures of food, like I would get ready to bust a grub, and I'd be like, all right, food porn, and then I'd tag a picture of people like, oh, that's right, how was it, and all that other stuff. So they were like, well, when people ask you a question, that's a video, and that's what started the channel. Anytime somebody asked me a question at work or family, Thanksgiving, whatever, I just started doing videos on that. And somewhere in the middle, I decided to split the channels. So I did the tech channel, which is Day One Tech, and then I have the adventure channel, which is Day One Adventures. And my name is Damon, so I spell it DAY. So that's kind of how it all came about. So on adventures, I'm traveling, I'm eating, I'm having fun. I'm just trying to live my best life, you know.
Yeah. I think, and I lived in Smyrna, Delaware for a little while, for like 6 months. Uh,
Smyrna, yeah.
it was, but that was like 2007, I think. It was the worst because it was just nothing there to do. And I worked at the Wawa right on what is that the highway, the main
That
highway
main
that
strip to go right through there, yeah.
takes you to Dover Downs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like that was the worst. That was the worst.
Yeah.
And I was there right when they were building the first gas station Wawa that they had. I worked at the
Oh.
one. You know what? I worked at the one at the bottom of the hill from the prison.
Oh, I
That's the
don't
one I
even
worked
think.
at. I don't even know if it's still there, but it was one right when you go up the road to go to the prison. It was
Okay.
right at the bottom of the prison, right on the that strip. I don't. What is that highway now?
That must have kept it interesting. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, we used to have certain times of the day. You have the COs come in that's either getting off a shift or going to work. Welcome to the live, SC Johnson. Welcome to the live. But yeah, so I lost my train of thought right there. I guess the question I was going to ask is living in the tri-state area, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I said, the tri-state area could go three ways. You can either say Philly, Jersey, New York, or you could say Philly, Jersey, Delaware, Philly, Maryland, or it's all ways you could spin it.
2 hours within anywhere of Philly. It's pretty much covers that. That's my travel distance pretty much these days. They like if it's 2 hours within Philly distance, I'll probably make it there. I've gone outside that a couple of times, but my day trips I usually try to keep it to 2 hours.
One of the things I've noticed with doing content, because right now I am in Phoenix, Arizona, as you may know. That's where I currently reside at right now. And I'm planning to move back to Philly. Just kind of why I'm doing a lot of Philly content to kind of get acclimated back to the city or whatever the case may be. But I've noticed that a lot of content creators, when they're creating content on the East Coast, it seems as if it gets more traffic than I would say content creators out here. And I'm talking about as far as the food scene, because that's mainly kind of what I deal in. And I feel like that the food, I don't want to say the food is better. It tastes better. It tastes different. Now, is it more healthier? I don't think so. But I feel like on the East Coast, the quality of the food is more appealing to the audience eye than, let's say, going to see his tacos all day. Because that's what's out here. What's out here in Arizona,
right?
It's tacos. So if you want to build an audience around tacos, here you go. But I don't know how many people searching into the search engine for tacos.
And for me, what it feels like, especially for the food, is because a lot of it is really sourced so close. So like Delaware is one of the top producers of chickens. And the reason for that is because the travel distance from the chicken farms to any place on the East Coast, they can get them there live. So you have a lot of farms, you got a lot of fresh produce, you got a lot of things that are shipping in. So up in Philly, like when I first moved to Philly, I used to love, I still do, going on 9th Street, the Italian market.
Ooh.
I mean, that is a culinary journey. Like for me, I came up where it was kind of like instead of going to market, you go down 9th Street and you see what they got fresh, and you make your meal while you walking along, and you get home and you cook it up. That was the whole thing. So, in all the restaurants, like there were some restaurants you can go there, pick some stuff up, take it to the restaurant, and they cook it up for you. So and you go there, like let's say on a Saturday night about 5 o'clock when they closing stuff down, whatever they don't sell, you might be able to get a good discount on it. So sometimes it'd be like that. So I think that's part of a lot of the food culture that happens on the East Coast, because New York has the same thing going on. You get a lot of food shipped in where it has to go to the next place, or they have to sell it right there. So a lot, the quote unquote, it fell off the back of the truck type stuff.
Yeah, 9th Street. We used to always go to 9th and Washington Avenue, Giordano's. And we used to do like cellar parties back in the day, where when people would get the food, cook it, sell it. You know what I mean? We go right there to 9th Street. I think it was like what? Get a whole, like a big box, and I think it was like $35 to $40 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, depending on who you talk to. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's because a lot of people they think the Italian market, they think Rocky just running along there. But if you really take a nice stroll down that block, like on a nice Saturday afternoon, you get there early, there's all kinds of food. It's like the outdoor international market. They just had the they had a festival down there recently. I think they
Oh,
just
really?
had it or they're getting ready to have it because there's so much going on.
Was
But
it the
yeah, that
Cheesesteak Festival where they had it where all the papers places that make cheesesteaks get in the line and then they make cheesesteaks and like it's a
oh
bunch of
no. No, this was just a street festival, block party, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It was just a nice street block party kind of thing. But all the restaurants and everything. Yeah, a cheesesteak challenge. I don't know if I could go to one of those. There would be a whole lot of hurt feelings because that's one thing that a lot of people are passionate about are cheesesteaks.
And you know what? Since we just brought that up, let's talk about the
Mm-hmm.
cheesesteaks. But really quickly before I say that, welcome
Mm-hmm.
to the live, Christopher. And always welcome to the live. Thank you for getting the kitties some cat food. I believe that should be coming tomorrow or Tuesday. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Welcome to the live, SC Johnson, one of my favorite mods. Welcome to the live, William. Cool dude. Thank you for coming. Welcome to the live, Sheba, and keeping it Karma's a bitch. Welcome, 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 guys. Share the link. Let people know that we're live. I am here with Day One Adventures, Mr. Damien. Okay. So now on the topic of cheesesteaks.
uh,
So growing up, because I lived
mm-hmm.
on 4th and Christian, right? And then I moved to 4th and Washington Avenue. So I was right there.
South Philly.
My favorite cheesesteak spot, if I didn't go to the Poppy store, right? Because let's be real, we in the hood, we going to the Poppy store, $5 cheesesteak. I would go to Jim's, Ishkabibbles, right?
Okay.
Now the days, it seems to me that Jim's, Ishkabibbles are not even in the conversation more or less than it is Angelo's and Johnson's pork. And I had the opportunity to have Angelo's. And that's how I came across you
Okay.
because I seen your Angelo's video. And that was after I went to Philly and recorded mine. My now favorite spot off the beaten grid is Homegrown's Coffee and Creations because they make a cheesesteak with an everything roll. And that's kind of something unique.
Okay.
Not a lot of people changing up the rolls. They usually deal in Sarcones, Amoroso, or what is it? Luisi? I can't pronounce that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the L place.
Yeah, the L place.
Yeah.
I never had John's roast pork. You had the opportunity to have John's roast pork. From your perspective, what would you say in your eyes is your favorite cheesesteak when it comes to
My favorite right now is Angelo's,
okay.
and like you say, everybody takes it like their steaks a little different. Key components for me, it's about that bread. That bread got to be right.
Yeah.
If the bed ain't right, then you could put whatever on top of it. So the bread's always right because they make their bread fresh there. So when they run out of bread, they ain't got no stale bread in the house. The other thing is the meat. I don't like minced meat. Some people like their meat when it's all chopped up, all nice and small and everything. And some people like it when it's got a little bit of body to it. I like mine with a little bit of body, so I feel like I'm eating it, but I don't want it like rubbery.
Yeah.
So if you can nail those two things, you high on the list. I don't do cheese whiz
At all?
I'm provolone or I'm American. I'm not a cheese whiz on my sandwiches.
I think when I was at John's was not John's pork. When I was at Angelo's, I got the Cooper Sharp cheese.
Oh yeah.
After going to Homegrown's Coffee and Creation, where they gave me the American cheese, and I was sitting there to myself thinking like, why doesn't this taste like what I remember? Because at that point, I hadn't been home for about 10, 11 years.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
So when I came home and I'm tasting it, I'm like, all right, I'd had the cheese whiz. All right, I know what that is, right?
Right.
There's a little bit of slight change in that, meaning the Cheese Whiz company must have changed the recipe. That's what it is. But I was like, why does this cheese don't taste right? And it was because wasn't using American cheese. When you go to the Poppy store, they use an American cheese.
Yep.
Now everybody's using the Cooper Sharp cheese, which I don't really know what it is. So I want to go back to Angelo's and I want to do American cheese and I want to compare it to John's Roast Pork cheesesteak with American cheese. Because American cheese would be the most authentic way of getting the cheesesteak outside of getting it with the Cheese Whiz. Because the Sharp thing is new. I mean, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I feel like the Cooper Sharp, that wasn't around 80s, 90s.
Nah, well, it might have been around, but I wasn't ordering it. It has too many syllables. You know, but I think it's one of those newer things because the one thing I did like about John's Roast Pork is that they had a couple of different flavors. So you had your choice of how you wanted to dress it up or dress it down. You could, get different flavors on it. And it was good for that. And it is close between John's Roast Pork, and it really depends on the flavor, the taste you're going for. But yeah, that's Sharp. Like you go to Sharp Provolone, and the cheese itself has got a lot of flavor. So if the meat ain't able to compete, that cheese is going to overshadow the meat. So
yeah, I mean,
very delicate balance.
It really, really threw me off because like when you coming home, you have an expectation, you have a taste that you're looking for. It's kind of like a high. You're chasing a particular taste. And when I couldn't, and when I couldn't get it, I was like, "What? Is it me? Is my taste buds shot?" And then before I got on the plane to come back out here, I went to Homegrowns, and I was like, "That's what it is. Is the cheese? Is the cheese? How was John's Roast Pork for you? Because I've never been there. Philly Captain says it's the best cheesesteak ever.
Yeah, that's his pick, and I enjoy the fact that we can all have our different flavors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because look, they just opened up Jim's back on South Street.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
And they've been having it. I mean, they were already having a line around the corner for that place, and some people like it. It's not one of my favorite places. I hardly ever go in there or any of the other ones, but it's a good staple, right? It's not like that's the measuring stick. If I were going to say that, like places on South Street, like Ishka Bibbles, like you're saying, some people like cheesesteak. I'm like, nah, Ishka Bibbles for me is really about the chicken cheesesteak.
Yeah.
They put the chicken cheesesteak on the map as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Because I was working in late 80s on South Street, and that chicken cheesesteak was, ooh man, that thing, it changed the whole game up on the cheesesteak tip.
Yeah,
then they even had a vegetarian one.
The funniest thing is a lot of people. I feel like Ishka Bibbles is one of the most underrated cheesesteak places in Philly because I feel like so many people glorify all the other places, but they never give Ishka Bibbles the respect that they deserve. Especially with that gremlin drink. Like that gremlin drink is something serious. Like that puts them in the game just alone.
Right? Yeah. Ishka Bibbles they play their own game. I mean, they make an okay cheesesteak, but I don't think it's a contender, right? Like if we talking prize fights, they're in a different weight class. But they got their cheese fries are legendary. I used to love the cheese fry. I haven't had them in years, but their cheese fries, yeah. But if like a late night, yeah, they're not the cheesesteak spot for me. I think that's what really blows up like Geno's and Jim's is because they there late night. So you going to the club or you coming out of the club, that would be the spot, and they didn't mess it up too much because you could only get a couple things on it.
Yeah. What's some of your other favorite food spots in Philly? Because I know there's a new cheesesteak place called Taste Cheesesteaks, and that's downtown. I heard a lot of people been talking about
Yeah.
that. There's been a big craze with the oxtail cheesesteak, which I don't know how that would work because it's not even a lot of oxtail meat on the oxtail thing when you eat it without it being a cheesesteak. So you're probably gonna pay an enormous price for it because there's so little meat on the bone to get off to make a quality sandwich.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, if the meat's tender for me, I'm in. I'm in. There's a place up in Manioc that I want to check out. They have a is it a pulled pork one or a brisket? I think it's pulled pork or brisket. I can't even remember. I got it in my notes. Um, that's one of the places I want to check out. That one downtown Taste, that's on the list. And the thing with cheesesteak places, like I try not to go in there hungry, and I try not to build it up too much before I get there.
Yeah,
Because if I get this preconceived idea of what it's going to taste like before I have it, I'll never be satisfied. And if I go in hungry, everything tastes good. So it's
yeah.
always I find a nice balance of, all right, I can actually taste this, and I'm not here just to criticize them.
That makes sense.
But as far as places, those are the two that I'm looking at right now. I like I like Sushi. So Cura is one of the places I've been hitting. I hit them up a couple times down on Chestnut Street. They got
Is
some
that
good
the
food.
place? Is that the place where you did the review with the Asian lady?
No, that was the place that has the revolving. They got a conveyor belt, and you just grab the sushi off of it, and then you
No,
just
I
eat
seen that.
it.
I seen that video, but then you did another video where you were sitting next to the Asian lady. Y'all was eating what
Yeah,
kind?
that was
That was somewhere different,
Dora the
right?
foodie, and that was in Newark, Delaware, at the University of Delaware. That's right down
Okay,
there. Yeah,
okay.
University of Delaware's got a big food scene down there also. Anywhere, basically, if you find that college right there, they got a lot of good restaurants down there.
Oh.
Hmm.
And as far as collaborating with people,
Hmm.
um, how do you go about collaborating? Because I've been having a hard time trying to network with other content creators. Um, it seems like a lot of people they kind of wary, or they probably look at the numbers and say, okay, I don't know what they think, but I just know they kind of wary. So, just wondering, like, what's your kind of like your process? Because usually I send a message like, hey, I respect your content, I watch your content, I would love the opportunity to be able to collaborate with you. You know what I mean? Just something straightforward. I'm not
Right.
one of those dudes that I'm a real dude, so it's straight to the point. There's no BS with me, and I don't know. We living in different times. So
I was me collaborating. I use I really haven't reached out to a lot of people. People will reach out to me, and I'll tell you, I'm always willing. Just give me a time and a place, and if I can help, because somebody helped me, like we were talking about the Philly captain. And when I had just started on this, I got my first pass to the car show, the Philly car show,
okay.
and I was walking around there, and he came up and said hi, and I was like, hey, because I had been watching this, I was like, you're Philly, and he was like, yeah, and you're David, and I was like, oh, I was like, oh, and we just started talking, and when COVID had happened, he hit me up and he was like, hey, you want to do a collab? And I was like, yeah, look, whatever you want. And people have hit me up, like you hit me up, Dora hit me up. I a lot of times I'm I'm scared to ask people. I really am.
Yeah.
So when somebody asks me, I'm always like yes, because that takes a lot of courage, and I think the willingness to do it is probably the biggest thing. Some people are good, like we were talking about before we started. Like some people are good with asking people and talking and everything, and doing a live thing and being able to do that. And some people like me, I'm more of an introvert. Like they'll see like me going on these adventures and doing all this stuff out there. Really, I'm just an introvert. Like I'm at total peace when I'm sitting at home editing the video and just chilling out and just watching a sci-fi movie or something like that. So me going out and doing the adventures is like a challenge to me, not to like get caught in a shell. And it's kind of like I would almost say like my therapy. So one day I'll get to the point where I can do lives and ask people, but whenever somebody asks me, I just say it's the willingness. Just yes, let's do it and see what happens. So I always appreciate when somebody asks me because I know what it takes to ask a person. So keep it up, you know.
Yeah,
Like they used to say, if you get 10 no's, the next one might be a yes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like and I like to collaborate with people that do like similar to the same content I do, but a little bit different. Like
Hmm.
your content that you do with the tech stuff is just totally different from what I do because I'm doing celebrity news, YouTube news, and food reviews. So it's kind of like we both bring something to each other. You feel what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
always something that I always try to look at into before I approach a person. Like, what can I bring to them? You know what I mean? What audience or what's different that I could bring to them that they could benefit from? So it's not like a one sided thing. Like they feel like they're just doing me a favor.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think that's the whole essence of collaborating with people is when you have two different, not yeah, like two different audiences and you're having that conversation, like showing that we can all get along and we can have like it's not the tech tubers versus the vloggers, like, oh, I don't
yeah,
like them. It's like I mean, I came up where you didn't have a lot of choices. So you got that variety. So you might get introduced to something new just because you're there. And I think sometimes when we were talking about like the algorithm and niching down, a lot of that gets closed off. So you might not know about a cheesesteak because you never would click on it. But if you're on somebody's channel where they're showing you a variety of things going on, you might be like, what's this cheesesteak thing? Let me, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I tell you a funny story about a cheesesteak. So it was like 89, 88. I was living down in Florida in Fort Lauderdale. I was going to
Okay.
going to school down there, and I was fiending for a cheesesteak. I was hurting for a cheesesteak. I'm trying to tell you, right? I called up this one Italian place and I was like, I need a cheesesteak. And they were like, a cheesesteak? What's a cheesesteak? Because nobody knew about cheesesteaks or anything. I was like, it's like you slice up some meat and you put it in a roll. And, so I walk them through this whole thing on the phone. Man, it was hard. It was horrible. It was like, I mean, I get, but see, people don't realize how nice it is now. You could just click on something, and everybody, they got Philly cheesesteaks all the way over in Europe now. They got a whole
Yeah,
Philly area over in England. Um, but yeah, that variety and having access to that much variety and people not taking advantage of it is really one of those things. So.
how was it living down in Fort Lauderdale?
Well, when I was down there, what was the name of that show? Miami Vice. It was like right at the end of Miami Vice, right? Miami Vice
Oh,
was winding down. Um, so it was a time. It was a transition time. It's completely different now. Like a lot of areas go through. I call them like they'll fall apart and then they get built back up.
yeah,
So when I was down there, it it, it was interesting because you had the Two Live Crew that was popping a lot of Miami bass. So it was good music down there, that freestyle and everything. So
yeah. And at that time, it wasn't no such thing as the internet. So you're hearing the real local artists.
yep.
You're getting the music
Mhm.
from the real local artists.
Yeah.
Versus today, everybody is listening to everything. There really is no local market. Come to think about it now, because you have the
No.
invention of the internet. The internet kind of destroyed
Made it
that, like Uber and Lyft destroyed taxi cabs.
Yeah, which is also because when I was down there, I didn't have access to a cheesesteak all the time and all the foods I was used to, so I had to learn to adapt. So I found out like Jamaican food. I probably would have never like met curry or had curry if it weren't for the fact that I was down there. Jerk chicken, uh, beef patties, vegetarian patties, all kind. I mean, there was so much food I got introduced to. Cuban sandwiches,
I
because they
love.
had their own food. Like I know you being out there in the West, you probably like, oh, the food ain't different, but you might find something to be like, I ain't never had something like this.
Yeah, that would probably be the El Pastor tacos, because in Philly, I don't know now, but back then when I left Philly in 2011,
Okay.
so um before then we wasn't thinking about no tacos. Taco Bell the closest, you know what I mean. But you get out here, they got tortas, El Pastor, you know,
Oh, the El Pastor.
cow
Ooh,
tongue,
that's my
you
shot
know,
right there.
So it's like it's definitely I would say more of a culture shock than anything. But I do think that growing up on the East Coast and having a certain type of food, when you get out here, you can appreciate what
Hmm.
they have here, but it's not what you grew up on. It's kind of like the soul food thing. It's like you grew up on soul food.
Right.
You can appreciate,
Hmm.
let's say, Jamaican food if you're not Jamaican, but it ain't gonna be soul food to you because that's something that you grew up on. You know what I mean? And if you're just getting introduced to, let's say, because I haven't really had Jamaican food like that, and I want to try the oxtails. I want to try the beef stew. You know what I mean? And I want to
Hmm.
try the Africa. I want to
The
do all
curry
these things.
goat. Yeah.
Very
You
good.
like you
No,
like it a little spicy?
no, no spice for me at all.
No spice. Okay.
No spice at all.
I mean, it's modest. So you can get a little.
That's kind of why I don't get a chance to indulge in a lot of Asian dishes outside of four wings and fried rice. You know
Well,
what I mean? Because I'm
there's
from
a
the
lot
hood,
of
so
different ones out there. Like my wife, she always thinks like when I say sushi, it's always raw, and there's cooked sushi.
yeah,
So there's a lot. It you, if you go to a good restaurant and your person that's waiting on your table and you tell them what you kind of like, if they really good, they'll be able to be like, oh, you going to try that. And when I ask the person uh what they suggest, I don't make any changes to it. I
yeah,
don't make no changes. I don't be like, no, uh, give it to me the way you like it.
exactly.
You
Because
know,
that's the whole point of asking for their recommendation in
yeah,
the first place. And I think sometimes people get confused when they do that, is because they kind of like, well, why would I take a recommendation off of somebody that's not an expert? And it's like, well, they are an expert if they're working there, you
they
know?
eating there every day, pretty much.
Yeah, they're more of an expert than, let's say, the YouTuber that just went there to do a food review,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, because they had one thing on their mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, I never would have tried cheese curds. Somebody suggested it to me one day, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try them. And I tried them. I was like, oh, these joints is all right.
What
I
are they
would have
called?
never picked them off the menu.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
That's the same thing with the El Pastor tacos, right? I go to a food truck, right?
Hmm.
That was down the street from where I was living at the time. And I asked him, I said, I want to do a food review of your food truck. And he was like, all right, well, what you want? I said, well, I want you to put what you want me to have. And he was like, all right, well, you're going to try a Libre al Pastor. And I
Okay.
was like, what the? And I'm sitting to myself like, what the hell is that?
What's the El Libre for?
Because it was the al pastor,
Uh huh.
green peppers, red peppers, onions, cheese, and it was all put into a plate mixed together. And then they gave you the tortillas, and you make the taco and eat it, and it come with the
Oh,
guacamole. I did a video
okay.
on it. I think I got like 700 something views. Um,
It's like a roll
but
your own.
uh, but I wouldn't even have known what that was. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
if I wouldn't have took the opportunity to say, well, this is his food truck, let him promote what he wants to promote. That means now he has more incentive in, you know, A, allowing me to do the video, and
Mm-hmm.
B, being able to support the video. Because a lot of times I run into this problem. I run into a problem of, and make sure that you go subscribe to Day One's Adventures channel. Mama just put the link to your channel in the
Thank you.
description so people can
Appreciate that.
subscribe.
Appreciate all
Um,
y'all.
and then I'll make sure that it'll be in the description as well once I do the keyword stuff after the video's over, so that way people can subscribe. But I've noticed that a lot of places, when you do reviews for them, they kind of expect you to do the review, and they don't show you any love or appreciation as far as, hey, check this out, even the shorts. I've
Mm,
noticed that a lot of times when I share a lot of the shorts, and the shorts are just saying, hey, food review coming soon.
right.
People, they don't want to support, but we do it because we're here for the culture. But
Right.
it's interesting how like, I feel like when we're doing these food reviews and we're going to these establishments, we're helping each other. It's not and especially if we're paying for the food,
Yeah.
like, I'm paying you, like, I'm paying you,
Yeah.
you know?
I don't even tell them. I don't even tell
Oh, really?
them. I don't show up at the door and be like, I'm doing a food review. I don't even tell
Hmm.
them, because I think sometimes, like, there's been times when I told people, it's like, oh, we having company, let's clean up, right?
Yeah.
Be like, I ain't gonna tell you, so I'm just gonna pop up and let's see how you do it on the regular. Because if somebody watch my video and they like, oh yeah, I went there and it was garbage, I'm like, hold up, you went to the same place? They might have just put on their A game when they knew they would get reviewed, that somebody was reviewing them, as opposed to just being on their regular humdrum, and then you really get, because
What it really is.
yeah, because a lot of times I'll just show up, like the one barbecue place,
Is that the
authentic.
one that was in Delaware, right? Did you did the truck?
No, well, yeah, that one. They didn't know I was coming that day. A lot of them don't know. Like when I show up, then they know. But I'm like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
But the authentic place, I was there. I made the reservation. I didn't put anything on the reservation. I ain't tell them nothing. And I was walking around with the camera. And they were like, hey, is this for your personal or is this for your channel? And I was like, oh, it's for my channel. I'm doing blah, blah, blah. And they were like, oh, yeah, we got to get approval. So I put the camera away. I sat down. I asked for the manager and I talked to the manager and I had to talk to the owner. And then they were like, all right, you can do the thing. But yeah, I found out that it's a lot easier. I did the one opening. I just show up. And while I was recording myself eating and talking and everything, they asked me, and then, because I think they probably get approached by some people get approached by a lot of people saying, I'm going to do a review. And some people try to use it as leverage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do a review, so you need to do this X, Y, and Z for me and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nah, like,
Yeah.
I'm just a regular Joe just trying to get a sandwich and share this love with the people I know,
Yeah, that's another guy I watched named UA Eats. Asian dude. He's kind of like he lives in the Jersey area, but
Yeah.
most of his reviews are like kind of like, how can I explain? He's doing like steakhouses and stuff like that. So it's not like the average. I would say my reviews are usually $20, $30 max. His is more like 60, 70, maybe even $100. You know what I mean, for a meal. And he goes in and he just uses his iPhone. You know what I mean? And he
Yep.
does the phone. He doesn't even take in his tripod anymore. You know?
Okay.
And he has like over 54,000 subscribers, just
Okay.
doing it that way. And he said the reason why he he said exactly what you just said, that he doesn't want them to give him any unfair treatment. Plus, and I agree with him on the fact that when when somebody's giving you something, you feel obligated to not be 100% honest. Like you don't want to tear
Yep.
them. Not. Let me rephrase that. It's not that you don't want to be 100% honest, but you if you got to give them a blow, you're going to give them a soft blow
Yeah.
versus giving it to them how you really give it up. You know what I mean?
You don't want to pull no punches.
Yeah. So it's like that makes sense. But also sometimes, hey, we all human and we all love to love, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to be able to walk into a place, tell them you're gonna do a review, and they're like, you know what, we're gonna cop all of the food, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah. I
kind of
don't.
like
Yeah. I don't show up. I don't show up. I always don't expect anything. So whatever happens, I'm surprised and I'm grateful
yeah,
for.
yeah,
Uh, and it's just one of those things. So but I a lot of times when I'm thinking about things like I'm thinking, what would I want to watch or what do I want to know about?
yeah,
I'm working hard for my money. Is this burger at Sonic? Is that really, or is it just like they just slapping the name on it? Because what's funny is that when they had that peanut butter burger or whatever, the first night I stopped there and I got it, and I was like, hold up, something wrong with this thing. Like I was about to trash them. I was about to seriously like, and I said, you know what? Let me give him a second chance. It might have been somebody's whatever, right?
yeah,
So I went back the next day. I talked to the manager. I said, look, I had it yesterday. It wasn't right. It didn't taste right. It was like off. I said, I got you. And he went back. They made one. I don't know if they they knew what I was gonna do, but they made it right. And I was like, okay. So sometimes you gotta give some places a second chance.
yeah,
Because everybody out here working, and I can't get mad at I can't hurt a business because they got one person there that don't like being there,
yeah,
and they just there because they got to do it, right? Because I've been in
yeah,
that situation where I got to work a job where I don't like it, you know,
yeah.
and I worked in restaurants too, and you know, all I'm gonna
Yeah.
say about that is what was that movie called? Waiting. If you ain't seen it, man, that movie's crazy.
um, Speaking of restaurants and stuff, how do you choose where you're going to go and do your reviews at? Because I've also seen that a lot of content creators, some of them are doing a lot of research before they go into a place. As far as because they're giving up the history and things of that nature. My biggest thing with that is that how many people are watching for the history versus how many people are just watching to see you eat the food. So it's kind of like you make this whole video with
Mhm.
all of this information in the beginning, which is useful information, powerful information, knowledgeable information, but does the audience care about that information? It's kind of
Mm.
where I kind of like wrestle with. Like I
Yeah.
just did a review of a place called Mrs. White's Soul Food Cafe out here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I
Solid.
kind of did a little bit of the history and everything. And I feel like that video did well, but I think the video did well because the title said oldest Arizona oldest soul food place. Is it worth 68.70? So I think the price point in the thumbnail, people looked at it and was like, "Oh, I need to look at this to see if the food looked like it was worth it." But
Mm.
I don't know if they necessarily cared about the value of Al Sharpton going there, Dick Gregory going there, you know what I
Oh,
mean? Devin
right.
Booker going there.
Mhm.
Does that really matter to them? And that restaurant being 6 decades old. And this is all research. Like I researched like 2, 3
But
weeks before I went.
your thumbnails the selling point. Now what keeps a person there, that's the content,
Yeah,
so that goes to the retention, really. That's looking at the retention report. And Yeah, because I know that this. It really depends on the viewer. Like some people love that, right? Knowing the history, and so, like I've done eating videos where people are like, I really don't want to watch you eat, so I'll start covering my mouth when I'm eating,
Yeah.
because they don't want to watch me eat. They want to know, they want to see me actually eat a little bit, but they want to know, do I like it? And as far as the research for the place, I try to have a person in mind when I'm doing it. So a lot of places, I'll be someplace and I'm eating, and somebody tell me about another place, and I go, oh, all right, hold on, and I'll grab my phone, I'll load up Google Maps, I'll find the place on there, and you can save places. You can save a list. So
Mm.
I have a list, all different places around the country, around the world now, right? And the place to eat. So when I'm around that place, the little dot shows up, and I'll be like, okay, well, this person was telling me about this place, so let me check them out. Because I knew, like, we had a discussion, right? Like, for me, when I'm talking to somebody, and let's say we're talking about movies, right? Comedies, and I mention a movie, a comedy I like, and you say, yeah, I like that comedy. I'll be like, all right, well, we got similar tastes, so we can now talk about food, and we'll talk about food. I'll be like, hey, you like this? And they be like, yeah, I like that, but I think this was better. And I'm like, oh, really? I haven't had that.
Okay.
Now, where's this place at?
Okay. So you like more of off of referrals versus than sitting there doing a bunch of research before you go to the place.
Yeah,
You know
like
what I
I'll
mean?
do the research afterwards, or when I'm at the restaurant, I'll talk to the people there because that's part of the whole experience. Like I walk into a place and I'll look at the wall and I'll be like, "Is that?" And they be like, "Yeah, that was." They did blah blah blah, and I'm like, "Oh, really? Okay."
Mhm.
But yeah, only research I do is when I'm talking to somebody about a place, and they put me onto another place. Like I love word of mouth. When somebody tell me about something, I'm like, all right, because you can do all the advertising in the world, but this is for me. This is really about what are the people that I'm hanging with gonna like. Like not everybody
Yeah.
can roll into a you know, $200 a plate kind of place. Like that's nice dreaming stuff. But how's that new right? Like I'm got this Zevia, whatever, it's zero sugar free.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of stuff I be thinking about. I'm like, is it any good before I spend my money on it? Like
Yeah.
this one over here is $1 and that one's $2. Is it worth $1?
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, I think for me, because like, you know, when I'm making a video, I want to go to places that I want to go to, but I also want to go to places that people want to see. Because right now, being a small YouTuber, I can't just go anywhere and still get 40, 50,000 views. You know what I mean? So there has to be a certain amount of keyword research and I guess research in general done to kind of see where the viewership is for a particular, restaurant,
Yeah.
if that makes
You know,
sense, you know?
birds of a feather. I mean, a lot of times it's just I got turned on to Angelo's really because I did one review and somebody pointed me to Angelo's and I checked out their Instagram and I saw they were getting, they were doing the thing and I stopped over there, you know, and
Yeah.
a lot of times that's really what it is. Is yeah,
Is that the same?
but
Is that the same with John Joe's Pork too? Somebody referred you?
yep, yep, yeah, Philly Captain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had that discussion and I was like, all right, I'll try it. The only research I had was I was hungry and I was in South Philly. I couldn't tell you when the place opened, none of that stuff. I was like, look, I got camera, I got a drone, I'm a shoot a thing, and I'm gonna eat my lunch, and we good for the day. You
I,
know,
li- I like the content that the Philly Captain does. Is I feel like he's in a couple of different arenas. I feel like he has the baseball, that's an arena, which is the algorithm. Then he
hmm
has the walking tours, which is an arena, an algorithm, and then he has his food reviews, which is an arena and an algorithm. And I think when a lot of times people say niche your channel now, I'm like, well, he's a perfect example of somebody that's having success, and his channel is not niched down. He does. When you go there, you know it's the Philly captain, and this is what you're gonna get. One out of the three, you know.
Yeah, and I think he actually is niched down, but it's not the niche down that people think about. He's niched down to his area, right? So if I were to think about Philly, right, everyday Philly person, Philly captain, you know, you got your history,
Okay.
you got your food, you got your sports. That says Philly to me. If one thing for sure, Philly people care about food, sports, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the history, because there's a lot of history that goes on there. Whether you like it or you don't like it, that's Philly, right? That's what people are passionate about. And that was one of the things that I learned from watching him and talking with him is like I'm in Wilmington, Delaware. So I started becoming involved in the area here. So on the outside, it looks like I'm not niched down, but you know, like I said, 2 hours within where I'm at in Wilmington, I'm in DC, I'm in New York, I'm in Philly, I'm down the shore, I'm at Great Adventure. So within that 2 hour radius, that's kind of like my niche.
Yeah.
So I try to think about that, like what is the community doing? What are the people doing around? And what are people passionate around me doing? And so I think he is niche down. I think that I think that's also one of the things that people are really get into, like people that live in the van life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really them living in the van. You see cuts of them living in the van, but it's really about their life and what that lifestyle and everything that goes on around them is about.
Okay. That makes sense. That definitely
Yeah.
makes sense. I can respect that. We're coming up on an hour. I don't know how much more time do you have. I don't know how long you
Can go
allocated.
for a little bit.
Okay. I want
We
to talk.
got. I was just looking here at the chat. This is kind of cool. This is my first time chatting with the stream
We,
yard.
we,
Thanks
we,
everybody for being here. Thanks for inviting me.
we
Um,
can pull up some of the what's your names on the screen. What I was going to do is I was going to wait and I was going to ask people at the end if they had any questions for you.
oh, okay. All
But
right.
guys, if you have any questions for Day One Adventures, put it in the chat right now and we'll pull it up on the screen. But we'll pull up
African
what we're
food.
talking about here. Can you do a review on African food? It's the
Oh, that's
best food
good. That
in
is
the
good.
world.
I like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I want to try fufu. There's an African truck that's out here in Arizona that I've been trying to link with. And I've been messaging them trying to find out where they're gonna be. And she just keeps like pushing me off. And it's like, I'm not asking you for no free food. I'll pay for my own food. I just want to know where you're gonna be so I can come do the food with you. You know? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely something that's on my list.
That's I'm definitely I'm actually involved with it's a community kitchen. It's called Wilmington Kitchen Collective, and
Okay.
it's a bunch of entrepreneurs. So if you have a food truck or you're getting into the food business, you got to have an actual kitchen. So we use different places for kitchens. But anyway, there is an African food entrepreneur. So I will give that a try. Are there any food that I should look for? Right? Like I don't know what to go for.
Hmm.
You know,
Well,
like
I know
I
definitely
like.
the fufu is
So
something.
what is the fufu?
Fufu is the it looks like it's like a ball. It looked like a ball of mashed potatoes, and you
Uh-huh.
kind of eat it with your hands. You take it and
Okay.
you take a little piece, dip it into the. It's usually like stew or something,
Oh,
and then
okay.
you eat.
You just
Yeah, but it's
oh
definitely something that you eat with your hands.
oh I
You know,
like to eat with my hands.
you know. So, and
Yeah.
they say I get mixed reviews on it, so I want to try it to see how it is.
Okay. I'll check with them.
New York Steakhouse is what he does.
Oh, the boy we were
Steak.
talking about. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a.
Yeah.
You
That's an expensive habit right there.
Yeah, that was another thing I was going to ask you. Um, do you think when he's doing these type of reviews, that he's getting a different audience of people that are watching the content versus, let's say, somebody like myself who's doing, let's say, a range of anywhere from 10 to maybe max $40, where his range is usually anywhere from 20 to $120.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I mean, he has done a couple of fast food places like In-N-Out Burger, which I think he was wrong about In-N-Out Burger, to be honest with you. They got pretty good burgers. Whataburger,
I haven't been there
you know,
yet. I'm
is it? They're all West Coast situations. You know what
right.
I mean?
Yeah. See,
Um,
and,
so his what was I saying? He was yeah. But do you think there's a
he's
different
getting.
type of
Oh
clientele?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Because I mean, to be honest, like I see somebody like a couple hundred on the mill, I'm like, I'm probably not gonna watch that one. You know, because it's not tangible to me. It doesn't feel like something I would do. And like I went to oh goodness, Fogo de Chao, and I
The place
remember
is pretty
before I
good.
used to always think Fogo de Chao was so expensive, like I can't afford. You know, that's like you got to really for a
Yeah,
special occasion. Then I found out they got a very um affordable lunch, you know, with the salad bar and everything. And I said that's going to be a good video because
yeah,
a lot of people I didn't know, and I knew a lot of people were going to find value in that. It wasn't just going to be entertainment; it was going to be value. Like this is something you can do. Like it was $18 for a really good lunch.
yeah, yeah. Well, I went there for my birthday one year, and I think it was like $70 a person, but it was the all you can eat meat, and it was pretty good. And I think you got a couple of sides with it as well. We had the mashed potatoes; they were pretty
Hmm.
good. That corn was pretty good. I don't know what that corn was, but that
Yeah,
corn was pretty
I've done the full, you know, come to the table and slice it up and all that. Yeah, I've done that. Um, but what's is really funny now, I'm not eating as much. So when I'm eating, I you know I'm more
yeah.
about the flavor.
Yeah, see me, I stopped going to buffets a really long time ago because I have issues with my weight and everything like that, and I just feel like a buffet is just setting myself up for destruction. You know?
Yeah, well, I like a buffet when it's got good variety.
Mm.
If you give me some good variety, good food, I will go to the buffet. But don't try to overwhelm me with just a whole bunch of stuff that's mediocre. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I don't want no
Another
mediocre food.
buffet spot that a lot of people are talking about that's in what is it Westchester, I think. Shady Maple. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's my spot.
I've been hearing a lot about it, but I've never been there before.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, if you go on your birthday, it's free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Just about everybody in my family, we go on somebody's birthday. We would get ready to plan a trip for my birthday, and my wife, she was like, I don't know what day you want to leave for this trip because I don't know if you want to go to Shady Maple this year. And I was like, yeah,
So would
yeah,
you
but
just go and show them your ID and then you good?
yeah, yep, yeah. You go with fam, but I like going there because they have variety and it's good. It's Amish food, so there's not a lot of spice, but it's good quality, and they got dynamic. Yeah, the place started out as like almost a little truck stop, and now I think it's one of the biggest. Yeah, definitely one of the biggest ones on the East Coast.
Oh wow.
It's
Uh,
huge. Yeah,
how do you feel about Renton Terminal?
Redden Terminal, it's good. It's good for the variety. Um, it's hard to find some places in there now
Oh really?
because
Is Delilah still in there?
there's so many places in there, and I don't think you can really go wrong in there. But it don't go in there hungry. I guess I would definitely not. eh, Going in there hungry and not knowing what you want to eat will upset you if you like food because there's
Oh,
so many good choices there,
wow. Hmm.
and it's not like you can just like grab everything. You
Yeah,
know.
a lot of people was talking about the Knicks place Well, I'm not a roast pork eater anyway. I just feel like pork
With the
has a lot
broccoli
of flavor
rabe.
with the broccoli rabe. Well,
Yeah.
I can't eat broccoli anyway because I have gout. So I'm like, I'm not even going to try to eat broccoli
I
rabe.
don't even know broccoli rabe is actually broccoli.
Is it broccoli? Right?
I don't know what it is. To me, it kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, spinach or something. I don't know. But yeah, that sandwich is good if you like that, and you get the provolone in it. I think it's the provolone on it, and it's got a little flavor. Yeah, there's a barbecue place up in there. It's nice, crepe place. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of good places in there. It's really, I got to go in there and be like, I'm going to
Laser
eat
beam
at this
focus.
place, and I can't look. I got to put the blinders on because I'll be like, oh, what's that? What's it? Donuts, and I'm
I know one of the places I do want to try is that chicken place wherever they do the rotisserie chickens because I think JL Jupiter and Mark Waynes went there and they had like the different chicken. They had the rotisserie, the smoked chicken. It was like
mm,
all like it looked like it was all like chicken wings. It looked
okay.
really really good. And that's somewhere in the Renton terminal. You know?
Okay, yeah, I haven't been to that place yet. Not big on chicken,
Oh really?
probably because I had to eat so much of it before. I'm not big on chicken anymore.
let's really quickly let's talk about some. So we didn't really get a chance to talk about any
But I'm
traveling.
gonna, I'm gonna check out that peanut butter soup. Thanks for that. Thanks for the heads up on that.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Yeah, yeah. You said that.
You can't go wrong with the peanut butter soup and
I like peanut
cassava
butter soup.
leaf and rice.
Cassava
Interesting.
leaf and rice. Okay. Peanut
Interesting.
butter soup sounds like that would be definitely up my alley right there.
Let me see. Sheba says, "I'm someone that likes the history. I think it's a thing that some of your audience would appreciate."
Hmm.
Well, I guess in a way, I guess it shows that you did some type of research. You know, but again, it's one of those things like how many people appreciate that and is watching that versus people that just get to the business, you know?
Yeah. But
It's kind of like,
yeah, your algorithm will let you know. You watch that retention report. That's definitely going to show you. I sometimes I think about it. If it's one person, if there's one person that's going to like it, then I'll put it in there
yeah,
because people are quick. I won't say everybody, but sometimes there's people that are quick to complain about something. Then there are people to congratulate about something. So that's kind of like in a quiet way. That's how I know if something's good. If I'll look at the retention, I'm like, okay, well, we're still at this percentage at this end. That means they weren't just there for the meat; they wanted the full meal. They just think, oh, he said it was good. Click. I could tell. Like as soon as I let, did you like it? Yes, and then people just click off, and then some people are like, oh, okay, and then this place was here, and I liked it because sometimes there's this place in New York, oh, a dinosaur barbecue. It's up in Harlem,
it
and the
sounds
place
like
started because the guy had he basically had a cart, and it was down there where the Cotton Club is, and
okay.
he just would sell barbecue there when people come out the club and whatever, and that's how the place got started, and it's been there for oh man, a long time. And that story was good. And that was one of my favorite barbecue places to go to in New York. Because I remember the first time I walked past it, I couldn't afford to go in there and eat. So I just looked in the window and was like, one day I'm going to go in there and eat.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Was it the story that moved you to go to the restaurant? Like, without the story, would you have still went to the restaurant?
Yeah, because I didn't know the story. I didn't know the story until I sat down and I was talking to the wait staff there. I was talking to and they started telling me about the history, and I was like, oh, because I talk to people, and when you find out what people are passionate about, they will let you know. And I was
Yeah.
like, that was a really I felt inspired to hear that person's story. I was like, oh. And I think that a lot of times that's what the history lets people know. Like this, like I was at an event today, and I always talk about the history, and they were like, it's the fourth year, and it's the biggest year with people showing up. And to put that in perspective, 3 years ago was COVID, like everything was shut down.
Yeah.
So to go through that, and now it's coming together, and it's all nonprofit and everything. So I think the history is important, because a lot of times because somebody that's just tuning in and just wanting to hear yay or nay, yeah, they're good. I appreciate that. But people that care about other people and things like that, I think that's really where a good audience is found.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And you said you did an event today. You do a lot of different events and a lot of traveling back and forth. And I know this is something that we kind of went on a food tangent for an hour. But that's what we foodies, so it is what it is. You do a lot of traveling, Um, how is that incorporating that into your channel, and then not throwing anything off from what you got planned?
Mm. I don't know. I think that's just it's basically what I was doing before I started the channel. Like,
Okay.
Prior to 2012, something tragic happened in 2012, and up until that point, I was a homebody. I stayed in the house. I didn't do anything. I hung out in my own backyard with my dogs and whatever. Right.
Yeah.
My life changed, and I wanted to get out and start living life, and that was it. So if I go someplace, now I'm getting more in the habit of, okay, what is the story going to be when I go to this place? What am I going to share with my audience and my people?
Yeah.
So somebody asked me, like, went to, go to a place. I'm like, okay, so how can I help somebody? So if I go to Great Adventure, yeah, I'm going to have fun, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, what information am I going to share to help somebody? Like, okay, if this is going to be your first time here, this is what it's going to be like. This is how you can save money. This is how you can get the best bang for your buck when you go there. If you go
Plus,
into
you
this,
show people how to read the map and how to get from one location to another location in your video. So
yeah,
it's informational as well.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know.
value proposition. That's I watch some people, and they say, provide value to people, because entertainment, that's one thing, but if you providing value, people are going to appreciate that. And I appreciate it when I can watch a video and I can learn about something, I can become informed and entertained.
Yeah.
KRS-One had one I'll call it a record, right? It was called Edutainment, right? And
Yeah.
I like that idea, right? It should be edutainment, like learn and be entertained. We can do that. You do that. I think food reviews are really known for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. For
because
sure. Sure. For
you're
sure.
introducing people to culture. Like we were talking about African food. That's a whole culture right there.
Yeah.
It's not just peanut butter and jelly. It's you know, I'm sure there's going to be a story behind the peanut butter soup. You
Yeah.
know,
Now it's starting to sound very interesting because I wonder what's in. Hey George, if you're still here, can you write in the chat what's all in the peanut butter soup? So I would like to know. You know, and I never had a cachava leaf either. I don't know what that is.
yeah, I don't know what that is, but I used to pick. Oh man, my great grandmother, it was Savannah, Georgia. So we used to
Okay.
get the peanuts, like fresh peanuts,
Oh wow.
and the boiled peanuts. Yeah,
Ooh.
I still love those. I think I got a can of them up there, but yeah, I still like boiled peanuts, boy. Yeah.
Favorite wood ice place in Philly?
Mm. In Philly, it used to be Pops. I would say Pops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Pop
Now,
still around?
as far as I know, I'm in Wilmington now, so my place in Wilmington is Dino's and Fresco's. I go with Dino's first because Dino's got that. They got this pina colada. You got the little chunks of pineapple in it and little chunks of coconut.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that right there. That's my. I did pretty good today. Let me go get myself a little kid size.
Yeah, one of my favorite places, Jim's. Not Jim's. John's on Christian Street. What's that? 7th and Christian.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But I want to go to Blazing Flavors because and
Blazing
not only
flavors.
just for not just for the water ice,
Uh-huh.
'cause they got some crazy water ices, but they're like pretzels. They got like crazy pretzel. They got one pretzel that's like a seafood pretzel where it's like shrimp and you know what? I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna pull it up for you real quick because we can
You
share our
see,
screen.
I told you, Blazing Flavors Inc. I got them. Germantown.
Yep. Well,
See,
I'm trying to
this is
see.
what I'm talking about. Like I pulled right up on my. Oh, I forgot I'm on this other camera. So I pulled right up on the map, and then I just hit save,
Let's see.
and I got a couple different lists, and you can put a little note in there.
Oh, let me see. There we go. Let me share the screen real quick for the audience to see. Uh, this is the I guess the seafood pretzel. Um,
Oh,
it has shrimp, crab meat, and cheese whiz. Some
okay.
more food.
And they say they got the water ice too.
They got what ice too. Let me see.
Mhm.
Let me show you. Here's a wood ice.
Okay.
So yeah, and that's they I think Germantown, New York. So they got it's definitely North Philly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they right
Um,
near Temple.
yeah.
Hmm. Yo, yeah, I got them on my map.
So stop sharing the screen.
Yeah, they right. Oh man, okay.
Let's see. George hit us back. George says
Ninth and York.
meat, peanut butter, veggies is so good, and it's served
Served
with
over that
rice.
rice.
Okay. Okay.
All right, George. I see you.
um. So before I let you go here, and guys,
Uh
if you have any questions for Day One Adventures, put them in the chat so we can get those to him really quick before we let him go. I mean, I know it's Sunday night, so he's probably about to wind down, get ready for uh, Monday morning. Um, what would you say is the And I want to also just say thank you for allowing
Thank
me the
you.
opportunity to be able to speak with you, to be able to pick your brain and to be able to show you to my audience because I feel like you have great content. Your content, I watch your videos as soon as they usually come out.
Bro,
Um, hopefully
you're
one
an
day.
inspiration to me, man. I tell you that's the thing I love about doing this. The meeting community and feeling having conversations with good, positive people doing stuff.
Yeah,
I used to think it was all about the negativity, and it's people like you to change my whole attitude on this. Like everybody ain't out to get somebody else.
yeah. I mean, like I just I just like to work, man. Maybe when I get back to Philly, we can
Most deaf.
do a review. We definitely got to pick a plate because I love chicken cheese. I'd rather have a chicken cheesesteak before I'd
Okay.
rather have a cheesesteak. But I think a lot of people want to see the regular cheesesteak. But I want to start when I get back into Philly. I want to kind of do like a chicken cheesesteak tour. You know what I mean? Because a lot of
Okay.
people That's kind of one of those. I feel like it's slept on. So that's something that we got to do together. You know what I mean? We got to do a
The
review of a
chicken
chicken
cheesesteak.
cheesesteak together.
Oh man.
You know?
I'll tell you, I haven't had one in a while. That'd probably be pretty good. I can still taste it in my mouth.
Yeah.
But we might have to go for the brisket one. The brisket cheesesteak, they coming up.
Really?
Yeah, brisket cheesesteaks.
And where do you get those at? You know what I've
There's a
also
couple
been
places that
seeing?
got them now.
I've also been seeing this cheesesteak on a pretzel, like a Philadelphia pretzel, but it's a cheesesteak on a pretzel. Have you tried that yet?
No. I'm not big on pretzels.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not a. In fact, I know a couple people that got pretzel trucks and companies that I'm like, nah, because you know what it is. Anything that I had a lot when I was little,
You don't want right now.
I still don't like it now. Like I had a lot of chicken, a lot of pretzels, especially the pretzels, because into the game or whatever, you could get real cheap pretzels. So they almost gave them away. I used to have mad pretzels.
Hold on real quick. So when people donate to me, I usually sing to them. So George just donated $5. Thank you, George. Thank you for the $5, George. Thank you for the $5. Thank you for the $5, George. Thank you. Thank you for the $5. Thank you for the $5. Thank you for the thank you for the thank you for the thank you. 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 Woo! That's another cool thing about going live is that you have the opportunity to be able to get super chats, super stickers, and that's a extra income, And people
Looking out, George.
a lot of times people have it set up to where they make people send a super chat to ask a question, blase. That's why you see here. I don't know if you see if you look at the bottom, his comment would be here, and it's usually I think from what I understand, super chats were designed for people to get their questions to the front of the line.
Yeah, I've been in a couple of live where they do things like that. I've gotten, but I really never been behind the scenes and into the making of, like they used to say on talk radio, long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah, but I like it. I think it's and then also like a lot of times when you're doing live streams, usually what I usually do is I have pinned to the top all of my social medias, but because this is an interview, opted not to do that. But I'm going to do a after show, and usually in my after show,
drop those links because I'm going to be able to link to this, right?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah,
you should be able to. Well, if you want, you could download it and put the interview on your channel. I'll give you, full rights to use the interview. Okay. You know what I mean? I was just saying as far as like, you know what I mean, because a lot of times I usually get like donations, but I usually pin my like Cashapp and all that into the comments. So I'm just telling you in case you wanted to go do a live, like you wanted to do one, you can put all your information, pin it to the top, so then that way I'll do your example. This is usually what I do. So I usually do a break, right? So I'll do a 30-second break, right? I'm gonna do it right now just to give you an example.
Okay.
We're doing a 30-second break. Put a 1 in the chat if you're enjoying the live stream. Put a 2 in the chat if you want us to shut the F up forever. Let's go. So now you see at the bottom of the screen, it's all of my donation information, my Cash App, my Venmo, my Zelle, my PayPal, and I also have like a wish list on Amazon and stuff like that for people to be able to support me. You know,
Okay.
so
I got my
um,
celebrity glasses on to check that out.
so yeah. So usually that's kind of how I do it. Let me see. Let me take this off the screen. But yeah, so I usually I'll have that up for my when I do my after show later on tonight because I'm doing 2 live streams today. This one and then another one. You know.
Okay.
So and
See,
then I'm probably gonna put out two. Well, I put up 2 shorts already, and I still need to put up another 1 or 2 more for the before
grinding,
it's over. You know.
grinding.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what do you feel about the shorts? Do you feel like they hurt your channel, or do you feel like they help your channel?
I that's something I wrestle with. Um, I don't think it hurts. I it just it's taken me a while to start using them because usually when I'm shooting wide,
Yeah.
and when I'm doing a short now it's like that. But I started using this thing called Opus Clip, and it's
Yeah.
free.
That's what I use.
So I used it on the one interview and it worked out pretty good. So it wasn't like I had to do a whole bunch of work. I was just like load the video in there and it spit back out the little chopped up pieces. And I was like, all right, cool. So I think it does help because not everybody wants to watch a 5-minute interview, but they'll take that 30-second snippet.
Yeah. I think the thing is that I think they good because it gets you in front of a lot of people. But I think the audience that watch shorts aren't the same audience that watches the long form videos. So while you can build a channel off of shorts, you still have to do long form videos and other content and still do like the lives and stuff because that's what build the long form content. That's what build the audience for the long form content is what I've seen. Because the short people subscribe to the shorts because they just want to flick through the screen, watch it and keep flicking, versus somebody that likes long form content like myself. I'll
Mm.
sit here and watch your whole video that's 10, 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right. Also, on the other hand, like you do a short because now they have it where you can link it to another full video,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like a gateway. Like
Yeah.
I've seen some people where they watch the short, and then all of a sudden they're in the regular chat in the regular videos, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, I haven't had. I put out a lot of shorts, and I don't know what my percentage of people that's actually going over to watch the full video. I don't know if it's just the type of audience, but to me, it's not connecting. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And maybe it could just be the clip, just because they should be able to watch that clip, and if the clip's good enough, they should want to go watch the full video. But it's not kind of connecting
Or a
like that.
different video, or a different way. You can always link
Yeah,
it to a different video.
yeah. But
Sheba,
most of,
thank you for being a moderator tonight. That's good looking out. Hey.
yeah, she was really really good. She's one of my best mods. Her SC
Hey,
Johnson. Shout out to all my mods. I think I got about
holy
like 5 or 6.
DZ.
You know. So but yeah, man. So that puts us at uh an hour 30 minutes. Is there anything else that you would like to let the audience know about yourself before we let you go, guys? Make sure y'all subscribe to Day One Adventures. Sheba's going to put the link in the chat one more time. I'll have it in the description. Um, Great content. It's a variety of good stuff that is just homeful. It's not any drama because if you don't know, a lot of people that subscribe to me also is part of YouTube drama as well. So it's nice to be able to introduce them to people that aren't in the drama and just kind
No
of
drama.
yeah.
No drama.
So
No. I got enough of that in my life as it is. No, I really don't. But no, I just try to create a whole chill vibe over on my channel and just just people helping each other. Like the way I sign off is till next video. Remember, take care of each other. Peace out, and I'll see you all soon.
There you go.
Keep it.
There you go. Well, look, man, it was an honor having you. I appreciate you. And hopefully when I come back to Philly, we can link up and grab a bite to eat.
Or two.
Oh man.
All right. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, man. I'm gonna let you down and then in this live. And Shebo get your link in the chat, and I'll make sure it put in the description. And then also, if you want, you can download this live stream, and you can upload it to your channel as well for your audience.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
I'm always about sharing the content.
Sharing is caring.
Yep. Well, all right, man. Well, thank you, and I appreciate you, man, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
You as well, my friend. Take care. Peace out, y'all.
So, guys, that is the interview. That was fun. That was fun. Guys, I probably will be going live again later tonight. I don't know what I'm going to talk about right now, but I will be going live later tonight. Hopefully we'll see you there. And, make sure that y'all go and subscribe to Day One Adventures channel. Excuse me, y'all go check it out. And, y'all go check it out and subscribe, and I will see you guys a little later. I also just put out 2 new shorts, so if y'all want to go check those out, one is a Reese's PC short, and then the other one is a cheesesteak short. So go check out that content, and I will see you guys on the next video.